La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all, as you can see, like, I don't have my normal setup, my lighting and everything. I don't have anything with me, but I wanted to get these videos out. My notes are right here to the side, so if I look to the side, I'm looking at my notes. So now that that's out the way, let's talk about last week's episode. I want to start with Kirsten and Shaquille. Not too much happened with them this episode. We saw in the beginning that she was happy about the fact that he was keeping Erin her tires, her personal AAA, you know, perks of having a husband. Also, they had a housewarming party. He invited a married couple. She invited a married couple. I think both of those couples know that this is not going to last. Like, just, I don't know. It's just, Kristen is very disingenuous. I don't feel like this is a real portrayal of who she is. And if it is, I don't think we're getting everything. Like, she's obviously holding back. She's obviously putting on for the cameras, if you ask me. I think she's acting one way in front of the cameras and acting a different way behind closed doors. Her behavior just doesn't align with what she's saying, if that makes sense. It just doesn't. It feels fake. It doesn't feel real. And I feel like the couples that came felt that, including, I don't know about her cousin, but her husband was not feeling it. Because they brought up, okay, so they brought up consummation. Obviously, they haven't consummated their marriage yet. But then they was like, well, it seemed like y'all ain't even kiss. And, you know, she was like, well, you know, I'm not a good kisser, so I don't want to kiss. Like, her cousin husband was like, well, you let him be the judge of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't like him. You just don't want him. And I wish you would be a little bit more honest about that. I think she doesn't want to get a bad edit. I feel like that's why she's trying to portray herself in a certain way. But girl, we seeing straight through it. When Shaquille sat down with her cousin, he basically was like, well, am I being too patient? And they was like, you have to let the intention build through intention. And I don't know. Like I said, I feel like everybody saw straight through her, but they're just too polite to say it. Personally, because they're all just like smiling and nodding like, oh, okay, yeah, but no. So let's move on to Gina and Clint. So not much happened with them either. Clint went to meet up with one of his friends, and he was just talking about how he just wants the attraction to grow with Gina. And the friend made a good point. Like, usually when attraction grows between people, like, there's no pressure. Like, they get to be friends and just chill and hang out, or they're just around each other in a natural setting. Whereas y'all are in this pressurized environment, and so it's kind of hard to let attraction grow when it's so much pressure on it. And you know, I see where he's coming from with that, but also if the other person isn't trying, how can it possibly grow if the other person isn't open to letting it grow? So apparently after Pastor Cal let her have it about not wanting to move in with this man, she realized how bad she looked in this situation. So she decided to go ahead and allow him to move into the second bedroom. They ended up having their housewarming party. It turned out great. Clint knows how to entertain the ladies. Surprisingly, I didn't expect this from Clint, but I think Clint is willing to put in the work. I think Clint wants to get to know Gina. You know, in the beginning, I felt like he was probably going into this lightly, but I don't think he did. Like, I think he really would like to get to know Gina and really does want to give it his all, give it his best shot before they just give up. And you know, I feel like he wants her at the very least to try, to not always talk about your business. Give me something real. Give me something that we can really talk about. He told the group, like, I want to know what little Gina wanted in life versus what Gina now wants in life. Like, you know, I want I want to know the nitty gritty, and I don't know. I just don't think that's why Gina's there. I really think Gina's there to promote her business, and I hate that because I don't think they'll ever be on the same page, sadly. Let's move on to Nicole and Chris. She's a bit insecure that she's gonna be the one to ruin their relationship. It's like one of those things that if you overthink everything, it's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think on it enough and you put it in your mind that it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You're gonna sabotage yourself. And it's just important to be yourself in its entirety in a situation like this. Like, be yourself so that person can get to know who you really are. You know, don't put on a facade. Don't just cater to him because you think that's what he needs you to do. Do you. Be you. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful. Be, you know, compromising in, you know, everything is not going to go your way. But I don't know. I just feel like it's always somebody like almost like putting their foot down almost, and then the other person just giving in instead of y'all having a conversation about it. Like, even with the housewarming party, he was talking about how he makes a good like buffalo chicken sandwich, and she was like, oh no, we're gonna have a tropical type party, so we definitely can't do that. Like, and he just immediately gave in, and I'm just like, well, I don't know, the fact that he didn't give any pushback at all, it just feels like both of them are being people pleasers right now, and I don't think that's gonna be sustainable in the long run. I am proud of him, however, when she brought up the flamingo shirts. You know, she asked him, you know, I want us to wear these, but if you don't want us to wear them, then, you know, we don't have to. He was willing to wear them. He was like, I'll wear them for you, but, you know, I don't really want to. And so she respected that, and she didn't make him wear it. And I feel like that's how y'all should approach things in your relationship. I feel like with the apartment situation, with the dog situation, like, I feel like that's the way y'all should approach it in the future, like when it comes to more serious topics. Yeah, that's pretty much it for them. At the end, when they met up with all the couples, they kind of were forced to tell everybody that they consummated their marriage. They're the only ones to consummate their marriage. They're really the only couple that's kind of like on the same page. And even though their relationship seemed like it has little slight elements of trauma bonding and toxicity, just slightly because of all the people pleasing, I feel like some resentment is gonna grow there, but they're the only ones that are even halfway on the same page, sadly. So let's move on to Jasmine and Eris. So he met up with his cousin. Has anybody confirmed whether that is his real blood cousin or is that your play cousin? Because I'm gonna continue to put up quotes around cousin until we get confirmation. She's acting like a scorned ex, more so than a cousin. And I know there's plenty of family members that are very protective over the men in their family. They love to coddle. They love to act like they're a bodyguard to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle child, fiercely defending their loved one, right? But it just comes off like a little bit of jealousy, definitely towards Jasmine and almost towards the situation. Like, it's coming off bitter the way she is approaching it. I agree with a little bit of what she said at the end. Like, the way she's coming at Jasmine just doesn't make sense. Like, what did Jasmine do? Jasmine is the one getting the short end of the stick in this situation. And you know it because you are the one that confronted your cousin from the jump. So why is Jasmine getting all this pushback? I will never know. When she asked him what is he like about Jasmine, he basically likes her for things that directly affect him. Oh, I know if I'm in a situation where I need for her to stick up for me, I know she's gonna do it. If I get sick, I know she'd take care of me. Like, can you name anything about her personality? Like, can you name anything about her as a person? Even if you're not attracted to her physically, like, do you listen to anything that she says? This is how you know he has a low emotional intelligence. He said that the physical is keeping anything else from growing. Like, no more feelings can grow because he's not physically attracted to her. So he's shallow. We get that. But to me, it's like, it's not just the fact that you're not attracted. Your delivery don't have to be dry every time. It's just like you just say it so nonchalantly, like her feelings don't matter at all. Like, he doesn't act like, I don't know, like he doesn't care about that woman. You know, I cringe every time he says that, and I don't feel like he feels no type of way about saying it at all. Then she asked him, well, how does Jasmine feel about the fact that you're not, you know, y'all haven't consummated your marriage, you're not physically attracted to her? He told her that she understands that's not where he is right now, and she hopes that will change in the future. The cousin calls her fake and basically says you need to be a woman and say how you feel. Maybe she's not trying to pour gasoline on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she is not the type of person to, you know, maybe she doesn't want to force it. You know what I'm saying? He knows how she feels. Like, he says it every 2 seconds that she's way more attracted to him than he is to her. So obviously he knows, like, what does she want her to do in this situation? She's in a bad spot. He invites her to the housewarming party and she refuses to come. And I'm just like, thank God, because I couldn't sit through another scene with her in it being stank for no reason at all. Now, if you was reading your cousin, it would be different because he deserves to get read. But Jasmine didn't do nothing. She did say the reason why she's not coming is because, you know, he's not invested. So why should she? And that makes sense. I'm not even mad at her saying that. So then Jasmine and Eris have a conversation about his conversation with the cousin. She doesn't like the cousin for obvious reasons. The cousin don't like her. So when they were going over the guest list for the housewarming, he said that he wanted to invite the cousin and she was opposed to it. She did not want the cousin to come, but she didn't say anything in the moment. And he felt like she should have said something in the moment. And I can agree with that. Like, you knew right when he said her name that you didn't want her to come. So she could have said something. I agree with that. But like her aunt said, that's your wife, and you also have to make sure she's comfortable. You have to make her feel comfortable in any setting. So why would you want to invite your cousin? Because you know she don't like her. So when the couples all met up together, Clint asked Jasmine and Eris, had they been getting frisky? And Jasmine felt some type of way about this because she said that Eris talks to Clint more than any other guy in the group. So he knew for a fact they were not getting frisky. So she felt like he asked that question and it was to put them on the spot. And she was very uncomfortable. It was very cringy every time they have a conversation of where she has to say, well, he's not, I'm attracted to him, but he's not attracted to me. And he just, you know, goes on this long tangent about, oh yeah, I've never been like this before. I've never not been attracted to a woman before. I've never not wanted to consummate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has to go on this long, and it's embarrassing. And, you know, at one point she rolled her eyes and took a drink and just like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And so she was irritated with Clint for asking that in front of everybody, but you need to be irritated with Eris for being so quick to confirm that without any sort of regard for your feelings. So finally, let's get to Dominique and Mackinley. You know, we're picking up from the cliffhanger where they're talking to Pastor Cal. He thinks that even though she makes him feel like a big loser, he still wants to try. And I'm just like, why? Dom ended up telling Pastor Cal that she wants a divorce. Pastor Cal basically blames her age and saying that, you know, basically she's giving up too easily, and it's because you need to experience life and make sure you do that before you try to get married again. But it's like, y'all knew she was 25 when y'all chose her. Like, y'all interviewed her. I feel like anybody that sat down and had a conversation with Dominique could tell right away that she was not ready to get married. And, you know, whether that's based off of age or maturity or whatever, we could tell. How come y'all couldn't? You know, Pastor Cal was talking about you have to fight for your marriage. And I'm just like, y'all telling them to fight, but y'all want her to fight for toxicity? Like, you want her to fight? Y'all want them to fight, literally fight? Like, they're not compatible. And she's ending that early. I'm going to get to where Dominique has her faults. But I feel like in this situation, especially on this show, I hate when it drags on. I hate when people drag on. They know they don't want the other person. They know they're not trying. They know they don't want to try. They know it's not going to work out in the end, but they keep dragging it on and dragging it on and dragging it on. I appreciate Dominique for ending it right here and not wasting everybody's time. And honestly, Mackinley should be thankful for that as well, because you don't want to be with her either. She told us that you have said over and over that the experts did not give you what you asked for. So why are you mad that she wants to leave? Like, I know a lot of people are mad and saying, oh, it's only been 2 weeks and she didn't even try. She saw the writing on the wall. And I feel like this is probably the most mature decision she'd have made so far, is to end it. That's my opinion on that. And I personally feel like he is more deceptive than people give him credit for. I do believe off camera, he's a lot more negative than he is on camera. She said a lot of things that he said that we have not seen, where he's been negative and he's been, you know, saying a little nasty stuff to her. And I feel like that's why she you know, responds the way she does. Like, it's like you see her response, but you don't see what got her there. And I feel like he's manipulative in that way. So they both ended up apologizing to one another. You know, they both end up crying about the situation. I guess like y'all didn't care about each other. Y'all weren't really together long enough. And I get it, like when you get married, that's major. But y'all don't like each other. Y'all was not getting along. Y'all wasn't. Y'all should be happy to get away from each other. But low-key, I think Mackinley might be crying because he should have took that money from his mama. Okay, I feel like that's the reason why he really upset. So then Dominique met up with her mom. Her mom is really upset that it didn't work out, obviously, because her mom is the one who signed her up pretty much. So obviously it would, you know, she would be a little upset that they only made it 2 weeks, barely. The mom says she wishes she could have possibly intervened before it got this far. Mom, I don't know what you would have done, like, to change it. Just delaying the inevitable, if you ask me. Dominique said that he was very vocal about what he didn't like, and it's like, Dominique, you were even more vocal. If he was vocal, girl, you was hollering and shouting from the rooftops what you didn't like. Why are you living in somebody's basement and you trying to get married to somebody? You can commit to a person, but you can't commit to somewhere to live. You know what I'm saying? I could see where she was coming from with a lot of what she was saying, but girl, don't try to put it all on him, because he wasn't the only one saying what he didn't like. She said that he told her that he felt like he was in a constant state of trying to redeem himself. And I could see that, because she was constantly pointing out things, he did kind of feel like he had to be defensive. Like when she told him he was being negative on the trip, he apologized, and I think you didn't really give him a chance to redeem himself on that. So I totally can see where she's coming from with that. Even the mom was like, well, did you give him a chance to work on it? You know what I'm saying? I could see that. Once again, I do feel like fundamentally they just weren't never gonna make it because they're not compatible. Whether it's based off of age or whether it's based off of personality type. She seems more like an extrovert, he's more of an introvert. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, I feel like they have a lot of incompatibility when it comes to their personalities. So when they all sat down together as a group, for whatever reason, he decided to ask the group, has anybody consummated their marriage? When your marriage falling apart, like, how dare you try to jump in somebody else's business and your business is a mess? Like, sweep around your own front door. And then eventually he announced their divorce. Now, this is where I'm gonna have to get on Dominique, because I do feel like he presented them as a united front, like it was a mutual decision. I do think in the beginning he did position it in that way, but then when she spoke up, she said he made negative comments that made her feel he wasn't happy with the situation, and she broke it off because basically positive vibes only. She don't want to deal with the negativity. But girl, you were negative a lot of the time as well, constantly pointing out what you didn't like. That's being negative. That's not positive vibes only. You know what I'm saying? And so she did kind of put it on him in the situation, and so obviously he's gonna be defensive. So he responded by saying, you know, he was blindsided by the whole thing. He felt like she constantly belittled him. And you know, Clint was talking about how throwing in the towel, that's the easiest way out. Everybody in the room encouraging them not to give up. Nicole said that Dominique would regret it in the long run and to try to start fresh. And you know, the room kind of peer pressured Dom into saying that she would give it another shot. But Dom, the fact that you allowed yourself to be peer pressured into saying that shows you're immature. If you're a grown woman and you feel a way, stand in it. Stand in it. Don't let nobody make you change your mind. That's how you felt when you talked to Pastor Cal. You was definite. You weren't trying to change your mind then. So I just don't understand why you let everybody peer pressure you. You was talking about how that was like, you know, how it was so difficult. It shouldn't have been difficult. You should have just been like, I hear what y'all are saying, but we done made our decision already. Like, I know this is hard for y'all because it's like a shock or whatever, but it is what it is. Simple. And that's how I know you have some growing up to do, because you said what appeased the room instead of what you know to be true. You know what I'm saying? And Mackinley felt some type of way about that as well, and which I don't blame him for feeling some type of way about that. But why then do you keep saying we could have worked it out, or we could have did this, we could have did that? You don't want to be with her. You don't, there's many things about her that you don't like. So why are you acting like y'all could work on it? No, y'all could not. Y'all couldn't. Y'all constantly saying what y'all don't like, so stop. At the end, she was talking about how they could be friends. He was like, I got enough friends. So that's that on that. This is alleged, but from what I heard about Mackinley, he's went from city to city trying to audition for this show, and he finally made it on in Nashville. And so what I think he's really upset about is the fact that he finally made it onto this show and it got cut short. I think that's what he's really angry about. And he's seething and he's being passive aggressive, and yeah, he didn't get the full experience. I'm just not that mad at Dominique for leaving it. I wouldn't want to be in a toxic situation like that either. I don't think either one of them were ready to be married. He wasn't ready because he is not stable enough, and I feel like he's kind of like a clout chaser for this show. And then Dominique, she's just immature. She's just immature. She just wasn't ready to be married. And like Pastor Cal said, I really do think she should, you know, have those experience life a little bit more, and then maybe she'll be ready to get married. I'm just glad we didn't have to suffer through the whole season with this. I'm glad they ended it early. So y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Do you agree with me? I know y'all don't agree with me about Dominique and Mackinley, but y'all let me know how y'all feel. I want to hear your opinion. Like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, I'm about to leave. I don't know why the intro mixing with the outro, y'all. Anyway, deuces.